Chairman is here. My chairman is here. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Dele. How are you today?
I'm doing very, very well. I am so excited. I've been dancing on your behalf before you appeared because I know we have an excellent redeemer in our midst and he will direct our conversation this evening. So you are welcome, sir. And how has your day been so far? I know it's been very busy.
Pretty busy from 5:30 this morning till now. But His grace is sufficient.
We thank God always. Wow. Now you don't know how much I'm excited just seeing you tonight. But before we go on, I have my usual protocol. And the protocol tonight is to say what I know about you, our relationship personally. Because you have blessed me, not once, not twice, there is no way God will not bless you.
Thank you, Dele.
There is no way God will not bless you. There is no way God will not bless your family. And I will give just two instances. The first was in the early days of Ovation.
That's right.
And our motoring editor at the time, Tosan Adwayi, came to me one day and he said, God, I have good news for you from Coscharis. I said, what is it? He said, well, there is this new BMW 525i series. And Coscharis says they can give it to you because if you drive it, the whole world will see it. I said, are you joking? Then I went to your office, you were not there, and I met the vice president, my very dear sister Charity. I can never forget, and she took me around. I said, what? Someone is doing this? That time, we thought you were big. We didn't know you were just starting, you know? And that was how I became a proud owner of a 525i BMW. For me, one of the best cars ever manufactured by BMW. And courtesy of Coscharis, I was able to drive it. I'll give a second one. I went to Abuja. This would have been around 2008, 2009 or so. And a friend of mine came to pick me from the airport, Abiola Bash. And I saw this very sleek, Rover. I can't remember the exact brand now. The smaller one, Pathfinder 2. I called Pathfinder 2.
It's called Freelander.
Freelander, not Pathfinder. Freelander. Yeah, I mean you are the authority on this car, so you know it. Yeah. And I said, I love this car. I said, oh, it's a new one. Then I put a call through to you straight from the airport. I was so excited. I said, I said you will see the miracle of God today. And I called you. And you said you were in Ghana. I said, I'm even in your city in Ghana. I said, no, me, I'm not in Ghana today. I'm in Abuja. I said, I've just seen the new Freelander and I love it. He said, yeah, you want it? And then you gave me a name. You said I should go and see someone in your office. You said, then we'll talk later about the deals. And the following day, I went back and I got the car from your office in Victoria Island. I remember on Sanusi Fafunwa.
Right.
Sanusi Fafunwa. That's where I got the car. So I want to thank you. I always like to thank those who have blessed me, those who have touched me, and you happen to be one of them. And I will continue to pray for you and your family. Thank you. So on this note, yes, the show begins. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes. I would like you to introduce yourself. I know everybody knows you, but there are some people who will say they don't know. So I want you to please feel free, take all the time. There is no hurry. Tell us about your birth, because it must have been a miraculous one.
Okay, Dele, thank you so much. I am really humbled to appear in your show this evening. I thought by now people should have been tired of my story. I have a story that is meant to encourage young people, but can easily be intimidating also for some who will begin to say, how do I ever start to get to this place? But it's all about your mindset. It just all have to happen in your mind. Let me first say that my name is Cosmas. Madabuchukwu is a vernacular name that means man is not God. My mother gave me name by inspiration. I have a humble beginning. Sometimes I tell my story. I can easily break down if I can be emotional. A young man at the age of 4. My parents live in Plateau State, and we live in Georgetown. That was where I was born. At the age of 4, I still could recollect that my father, the best I remembered of my father is, carrying me up in his bed, a bed that is not more than 2 feet, that in the eyes of a small child of my age that time, it looks like 6 feet bed, dragging me up there. I remember riding in his car to go and buy bread from those expatriates are living in Plateau State everywhere, bakery. Then the next thing I recall that is very vividly about my father, the best memory I remember was a day in our family home in the village in the Nnewi. It was like a festival, and people were coming, masquerade, we are dancing, and it was a happy day for me in the eyes of a child. In those days, we eat rice on a Christmas day. Rice that everybody ate today used to be really special food. You need to pretend you are sick to be able to eat rice. So otherwise, if you get a yam, you should be happy. Or every other thing is, you swallow gari. But I saw my father, well dressed up in a black suit with a bow tie, lying in a bed. And I witnessed my mother's hair was scattered, and she was one corner of the wall crying helplessly. And I was wondering, what is making this woman unhappy? This is a ofara going on in our compound. I haven't seen this kind of masquerade coming and people trooping in, and people are shooting double barrel, and I will take the shells of the double barrel and try to smell them and have some funny feelings or smell out of them. One unique thing is that people were very kind to me. So if I wanted rice 8 times that day, I was able to eat it. Anytime they asked me, what do you want to, I say rice. So, and I felt this should continue and will be forever. It was later in my life I got to know that that was the burial of my father. That was the best memory I have of him. The rest is history. How my parents have 4 kids in quick succession is a miracle and only known to them, as if my father knew something was going to happen. 3 straight boys, my senior brother, myself, and my junior brother, and a girl was a baby in my mother's hand when my father died. So the responsibility now is upon my mother to raise 4 kids. This is shortly before the Civil War. We saw hell, things you can consider really hard time. But I have a lot of respect for women, strong women, women who really knew their God and really have relationship with God. My mother was a devoted woman and very, passionate about God and about the things of God. She was a Catholic, but she worshiped God the best she knew. All her life dream is that one of her child would be a priest. Incidentally, my junior brother rode into seminary school and was there for about 14 years. to be a priest. But before this time, I'm sorry to say, I've come in contact with the person of Jesus Christ in his resurrected power. I became a Christian at the age of 14 years plus. So I prayed my brother out of it. Eventually, he got married and have 4 children today, living a happy life, working for Coscharis. But the story, I don't want to jump, was rough and hard in the sense that my mother couldn't cope. I started being a breadwinner before I turned 7. My story is way out of this world, absolutely incredible, and you can make a movie out of it, and it will sell anywhere in the world. It's just that people don't appreciate things in this part of the world. Before I turned 8, I climbed palm tree to, charge 3 pence for cutting a palm tongue down for women, and to be able to address the tree, I charge 6 pence. I do everything legitimate to earn a living. We had rough time. It was hard on my mother to take care of 4 kids. The Civil War has broke out, but we are living in the village. We went,
the internet or phone call.
We live in the village. We used to go and take kwashiorkor food, so that kwashiorkor do not catch us, queue up on the line. We eat leaves of cassava, everything that have 4 legs for us, except automobile, is eatable. Everything that fly for us is a meat. Okay. Sorry to say, for my audience, it may be embarrassing to you, but many of you are complaining about hardship in life. But you can only complain because you don't know what it is. If you knew, you wouldn't talk about it. I ate lizard, I ate rat, I ate everything to get protein. But my life is not defined by those things. My mother looked me straight in the face at that tender age of life and tell me to believe in myself and I should believe in God. And my mother convinced me that I'm a likable fellow and that people like me and that I will go places in the world. She was my angel. She spoke optimism into me, and I believe that no door closes before me. My mother will fly akara, get me to go and grind beans before I go to school. The best I went in school, something I'm not very proud of, but I'm not ashamed of it also, was 3rd grade, what you call elementary 3 till today. I've never been in anything called 4-corner world before that. I only try to educate myself by the things I do every day. The world in itself is a school. Everywhere you have been is a school. It's whether you are prepared to learn. You will learn something. You truly, things about life is that nobody will enter into a future the person do not create. So I have a mother who talks some common sense into me. So I live with optimism. I live with confidence. She will fly akala and keep one pound for me to go and sell, and for my senior brother. I will sell 2 before my senior brother will sell 1. So my mother discovered my entrepreneurial capability. Part of the things she told me that people cannot say no to me. So I meet an elderly woman. I said, buy akala. The woman said, no. Why? This is too early in the morning. I want to go. I hold her cloth. He said, is it by force? I said, my mother tell me nobody says no to me. She would just laugh and said, what a boy. Why did you get this confidence? Sometimes, the way women indirectly will abuse his child and said, if this one is by me, he will not have sense. And she will buy my car. So I will sell 2 trampan and then start, running to school until when I get to elementary 3, my mother could not cope with the school fees of mine and my senior brother. So I had to go and live with my grandparents. So he sent me to his father and his mother. So I lived with them. When typically went to the bush, you know, try to help them with a domestic work, you know, plant cassava, plant yam, you know, do all of those things until my mother, junior brother, picked me up and brought me to Lagos at a tender age of 7 years plus. I was under 8 when I came to Lagos here. Our store is at 88 Griffith Street at Ebutemeta, direct at Oyumbo bus stop. Okay, they used to keep orange, you know, pond of orange opposite our shop. And my uncle lived with his uncle, his grandmother, my grandmother's brother, called Frank. He was on working at Bozen at Ebutemeta. He's living in Apapa Road at 88 Griffith Street, living only in 1 bedroom with his wife and one of his child. So my uncle only keep his things there and sleep on the passage. So then where is my own bedroom? My uncle sleep in a passage and I had to join him in the passage. So we wait for everybody to get to their room. These are face me, face your house before we lay our mat and lay down. By the time I'm getting to 8, he think I can manage to close the shop. He started keeping me in the store in Ebutemeta. There's no fan, no air conditioner, no restroom. It's like incredible. It's like going to prison. But that was a life of survival. The current chairman of Shisco also went through this kind of apprenticeship. We are all store boy. Early in the morning, before 5 a.m., we'll get out and get a bucket of water and shower by the roadside, and then dress up and open the store by 6:30 in the morning. We see some young boys dress up in a white shirt up and down going to school. Sometimes some of them put their hat over the mouth and laugh and say, look at this rat shop. They giggle, you know, pointing at me. And one day I keep my hand over my nose. I said, 5 years from today, I will employ you. I spoke to one. That's correct. You know, I said that to one of them. So these are the kind of life I lived. And I worked for 6.5 years without salary. My uncle clothed me and fed me and never paid me a dime. By the end of the 5 years, before the end of this, what I did so well, he opened a branch in Jos and sent me to Jos to manage his branch in Jos. Our store in Jos was number 4/5 Dreamy Street, you know, in Plateau State. I did so well. He opened another branch in Sokoto and sent me to Sokoto. I managed his branch in Sokoto. From Sokoto, he recalled me back to Lagos and then opened another branch at Nnewi, his own town, and sent me to Nnewi. I have always, if I get the branch stabilized, then he gets somebody. I did all of this before I became 15.
Wow.
Yes. While I was at Nnewi, I was 14 years plus. And not something happened in my life. I came in contact with the person of Jesus Christ in his resurrected power. That's when I said I was born again. I became a Christian. That was when my life was revolutionized. I had a clear sense of purpose, who I am going to be and where I'm going to go in life. It's not a story. My grammar was terrible then. I mixed capital letter with, you know, small letter. If it's as bad as it is today, you can imagine what it was 40-something years ago. But I was able to script things down on a paper. What I want to do when I am 17, where I want to be by 19, what I want to do at 20, what I want to do at 22. These are not stories. I place them in top of the wall of my bed before I go to night bed. I anoint my spirit with every one of them. By 17 years, my uncle gave me 200 naira in 1976. 1976. He gave me 200 naira. That is my stewardship for 6.5 years. That was what I earned. But I have become a Christian by then. I went with my senior brother. My senior brother said, I should forget it. Let us go. I asked him, do you have anything to give me when we get home? He says, no. I said, okay, why do I leave this one? Because children of these days are easy to neglect things. I have learned some basic principles from the Word of God. And I simply said, in the book of Job, he said, do not forget your small beginning, because you can start humble, but it will be great. My uncle was shocked when I looked him straight into the eyes and I said, I served you well. I never stole from you. I knew what other young boys are doing. I never participated in any of those things. What happened was that my uncle was mad at me because before I turned 15, I have locked up his shop to go for camping, fasting meeting. Before I turned, I've gone to fast for 3 days without water, without food, staying for 3 consecutive days. If you understand where I hail from, Igbo people, especially from Nnewi, our store is our religion. If you have a deal with an Igbo man, he's not listening to you, close his shop. He will tell you, old boy, come, let us talk. Now, what is the problem? Don't be that too hard. Let's discuss this matter. As far as his shop is open, if you call him for seminar, he will not attend. If you call him for convention, he will not attend. If you tell him to come and vote, he's not going to vote. That shop is church. Come first. That's the way we are trained. We don't play with our business. An Igbo man was at the bed, dying in the hospital, and 3 of his children went to see him. With his last breath, he mentioned their name. Is Okonkwo here? Yes. Okoli. He said, yes. Okafor. The man said, who did you leave the shop for? So his death is not as important as the coming. I can or let the shop be open. So we don't close shop for anything. So I committed the taboo. You may not understand how serious it is, that it was not a public holiday. I deprived this man of revenue for 3 days. He said, I have become a fanatic, and that he wants to settle me so that I can concentrate with this fanaticism. But I looked him straight into his eyes. I said, you should be proud of me. I didn't go to nightclub. I was not free now. I went to church. I was praying for this business to be successful. He said I should go and pray and do my own. He gave me 200 naira. I said, 5 years from today, I don't know what I had with 5 years. I said, if you had who I am, your head would be spinning. It shook him. And my uncle turned around and said, well, I know you will be successful. I said, thank you. That's all I needed from you. And I left and teamed up with my senior brother, and we formed a company called Maduka Brothers. My mother has supported him to get to elementary 6, like junior high school or senior, whatever. But, you know, I dropped out much earlier because I had no support. But he did some apprentice, but not to my own age. The family tried to set him up. So he had much capital than myself, but we teamed up and worked together. I knew Lagos very well, so I had to come to Lagos, go to Leventis at Butemeta, Leventis Motors, where they are selling a Honda Pass, you know, bypass, enter night bus, go back to the east, sell it, and we were making some progress. It didn't take long. Within 6 months, we started differing in ideology. Part of the things that created problem between us was that I go to church, Pentecostal church, and when I'm going, I take 1 naira And my senior brother quarreled me that I cannot take 1 naira to church. And that I said, why? He said in his Catholic church that 10 kobo is good for an offering, or 20 kobo. I can't take 1 naira. I said, but Pius, you drink a bottle of beer, it costs us 50 kobo. I take Coca-Cola that is less than 10 kobo. So the money I give in the church compensate for the beer you drink. He said he doesn't like my logic. Let us separate. I didn't call for separation. He called for separation. And we parted when my capital was 316 naira. Another guy who, one of the things that is good from those of us from the East is that our welfare system is that we help one another. It's not a written welfare system. So you try to, so somebody gave me 1/4 of his store and said I can keep my merchandise for 6 months. And then I parted with my brother and then started keeping things. They are coming to Leventis to buy something. Within 6 months, I have my first breakthrough. I went to Bulos at Oregon, Bulos Enterprises that represents Suzuki. They had motorcycle crash bar, the things that protect you if you fall back on a motorbike. And nobody knew they had it. Those days, there's no telephone, there's no email, so you need to waka to search and get information. But some of the things they don't teach us in school, but we learn from Street Smart, is that after buying the crash bar, I cut off the name of Bulos so that nobody know where I'm getting the goods. And take it in a night bus and ran back to Newe. I sold it by about 200% because it was very scarce. Had enough money, I bought 3 cartons, had enough money to buy another 7 or 8 cartons. I ran with night bus. I did this within 1 week. And I had about 3,800 naira. And then you can buy Peugeot then for 3,000, new brand Peugeot. And you can buy Mazda panel van, 1,500 naira. Daihatsu was 800 naira, not 1,000 naira. Naira used to be powerful. 1 naira was $2. I then made so much money. I didn't want to buy a car, but I bought myself Honda 175. For me, it was like 7 Series BMW. And I really, the next thing is that I rented room apartment, furnish it. Before I turned 18, I was living in 3-bedroom apartment of my own with refrigerator, with gas cooker, well furnished, and a foster share. And I started thinking I'm going to settle down in life because I didn't want to fool around. One of those things I wrote down was that I want to marry before 20. Wow. One of the things I wrote down is that I want to have my own car before I turn 23, and that I want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 25. And to the fact, I was 19 years plus. I actually made charity when I was 18 and came from a middle class home, but we were nobody from where I came from because his senior brother was a doctor, his uncle was a doctor, his father used to work for USC. So, fairly middle class, average family. No, I'm not at the same league with her by any standard. And when I told my mother I saw a young lady that I want to settle down with, she was asking me, I told him the family said, I tried to put my hand where my coat know the reach. What is leading me that place? I should forget it, that we are not at any category. My mother didn't know the size of my faith. He was looking at the size of my capital. Even though my pocket may be empty, but my faith was full. There are many sharp young men who have a bigger pocket that we are competing, but I pray all of them out. I believe in power of prayer. I raised my hand in church. I just said, Lord, I claim this lady in the name of Jesus Christ. And to the fact, I was to turn 20 on December 24, 1978. I took Charity to altar on September 23rd, 1978. 3 months
Wow.
on 20 years, I wedded her. So I've been married for 41 years now. Okay?
Wow.
Yes, the first dream achieved. By 21, I ventured into importation, made some mistakes. The second time, I got it right. I made some money. I was passing through Mandelas at Old Oka Road. I saw a Volkswagen Passat with 3,000 kilometers that has a dent in the bumper. I went to price it, and I got the car, and I fixed the bumper when I was 22. So the second dream accomplished. I own a car before I turned 23. The third,
Wow.
one of the dreams actually was that I will have a child by 21. That did not happen. God planned it for me because I would have been a kid having another kid, you know. And my ambition was that by the time I am 40, if you so you will also think we are colleagues today. You know, that's part of my dream. Even his junior brother already having bar hair, but I'm still growing hair in my hair. The other thing that happened is that when about 23, one day I was traveling with my wife and my mother in the car, that same woman that inspired me to greatness. I tried to convince young boys, young men, to pursue their, believe in it, and work hard to achieve it. A lot of people think it's only dreaming about something. You can dream about something, but if you don't have plan for that dream, the dream never going to happen by witchcraft. You need to plan how you are going to accomplish that dream. That's what vision is all about. I was in the car. My wife was in the front seat and my mother was at the back. When these things come on me, I speak like I speak to myself, like I'm a madman. I say, 2 more years, I'm going to be a millionaire. My mother said, hey, wait. I said, Mama, what is the problem? He said, you boast too much. This your boasting turned my stomach. Please, let's have peace on this journey. I said, Mom, I didn't insult you. What is the problem? He said, you don't know what 50,000 is all about. You are talking about 1 million. Please don't talk like that again while I'm in this car. I say, 2 more years, I will be a millionaire. My mother said, if you said that again, I'll get out of the car. I know she's a strong woman. I stop the car and wind the back window down, get a little bit to her ear. Never for the fear of controversy deny your experience. A vision is like a man with a vision is close to a mad person. And there's only one believer for every vision. It's not a group revelation. If God inspires something to you, when Isaiah said, thus says the Lord, a virgin will conceive, that was when everybody disagreed with him. Because from the beginning of the creation till that time, they say he made a mistake. He didn't say a woman, he said a virgin. How can you be a virgin and conceive? You need your virginity. So it was a controversy. So I get close to my mother. I said, Mom, I'm sorry to tell you, 2 more years, I will be a millionaire. It was my fate, it's not her own. Do you want to? I must say, yes, of course. I opened the door. She get down, I banged the door. My wife screamed, said, what am I doing? I said, you want to get down with her? I drove off. I left my mother. When you have a true vision, you never believe your vision. You never believe it until you speak it. If everybody don't tell you you are crazy, then that vision is not from God. The first sign that your vision is correct is that nobody will believe you. Everybody will doubt you. Nobody gave me chance. People laughed at me, called me imbeciles because I can't speak grammar. I can't make one good sentence. I can't even write anywhere. But I have self-esteem. I believed in myself. I never looked down on myself. I have a sense of worth. I believe everything I believe about myself and I work towards it. I learned to manage money. I am very disciplined in conserving money, managing resources because it is not in plenty supply. So I can deploy them in a very intelligent way. I know how to wear one cloth for 1 year, wash it every time, just change the ties and all of those things. So these are the kind of life I live. And to the fact to it, nobody will believe. Before I turn 25, I have about $2 million because 1 million naira, 1 naira is $1.88. Less than 12 cents, you will get $2. My first trip to United States of America was in 1979 or 80. 1979. I went to American Embassy. Those are the time they gave us 5-10 years visa. They asked me, where are you going to go? I said, I'm going to America. I'm going on holiday. Do you have any money? I just carry a credit traveler's check I have, $10,000. Bank it on the table. The man stamped me 5 years visa or 10 years visa instantly. When I get to America, everybody tried to convince me to stay back. Say, oh, you didn't go to school. You can go to school now. You can get credit to go to school. This is a place to stay. With utmost respect, I asked the man, I said, I have a poor mother in the village. Why do you want me to settle down here? You enjoy life, have 24 hours power, okay? Have bottle of milk and orange juice in your refrigerator. If you make mistake to pay your bill, you'll be on the street. I'll go back to Nigeria. Let me suffer and see through to it. They didn't believe it. But on that trip, I left, I went to Washington first. From there, I flew to LA and then to Tokyo, to Taiwan, before coming back to Nigeria. And
you were just 5.
Coming again?
Yeah, you were about 25 at the time, your age.
I was 24 plus. I hadn't hit 25 by then.
And you had $2 million in your account.
I have $2 million before 25. Yes.
Okay, sir.
I had my own earned money before 25. And I still drive Volkswagen Passat second-hand. I didn't buy a new car. That's part of the discipline from the people of my own. I never bought one property. I keep on putting the money back into my business because you grow capital. Part of the major problem young generation have today is they are in a hurry to reward themselves. They are in a hurry to, what you call gratification, to show you have arrived.
Right.
I didn't take phone that is 120,000 or 150. Nobody, my lifestyle never changed. Nobody knew anything happened. I lived like that. And
so then you went to different countries on that trip. You went to Tokyo, you went to Taiwan.
I went for business. I went to Tokyo to negotiate. That's the first time I met the Japanese. The Japanese also played an important role in my life. I'll be very honest. When I met the Japanese, I learned their culture of respect and value creation. Integrity was one of the things I learned from the Japanese. And then I created a rapport with them at that tender age that they could trust me. I can't write my success story today without telling you what the Japanese did in my life. they are not American. The America is gasoline. They start very easy and easily pressed. Japanese is like a diesel engine, very hard to start. But when they start, they carry you through any mountain or hill. They can take you through with it. Okay? The man that met me first will meet me in a coffee shop. If the relationship goes well, after 2 years or 3, they will invite you to the office. If you remain consistent, they invite you in the first floor of the office. If you remain consistent, the general manager will join the meeting. When the director join you for lunch or dinner, that is when they are already comfortable with you. I create a rapport that I started getting suppliers credit from the Japanese. That is one of the things that revolutionized Coscharis. Rather than borrowing money from bank, interest rate is in your head, in your grandmother's head. They want everything to be able to get it. I started getting suppliers credit. And people were wondering, how did I get this money? But the truth is that people trusted me and liked me and provided me resources to do my business. I think I will stop so far, but this is a brief story about me and Coscharis. You can ask all your questions. The rest is history. We represent Rolls-Royce in Nigeria. We represent BMW in Nigeria. We represent Jaguar Land Rover in Nigeria. We represent Mini in Nigeria. We represent Ford Motor Company in Nigeria. We are assembling Ford today, and recently we have taken on Renault. So we have gone into agriculture in full backward integration. We plant rice, we mill rice, we sell rice. We have Coscharis Nigeria PLC, Coscharis Motor PLC. We have Coscharis Ghana, Coscharis Côte d'Ivoire. We have Coscharis Medical. We are into every sector of this economy. We are into financial institution. At a time, one of the biggest institutions in this country, I own 25% of it. Wow. But I work hard, yes.
Wow.
So that's
wow.
it.
Okay, the internet is back. Yes, sir. Yes, I want to take you back to the Biafra War. You said yes. you were young during the war and you had to eat all kinds of garbage just to survive.
Yep.
So what would you call the positive effect of a war? We all knew the negative. So was there anything that inspired you from that war, or that inspired the Igbo race generally about the world? And is that why today every Igbo man wants to succeed, every Igbo man, because they lost so much during the war?
To an extent from it, the real truth in life is that when you go through hardship, and if you have common sense, you learn through hardship. Bible recorded that Jesus learned obedience through the things he suffered. Okay? Anybody who never find it hard to earn 500 naira, if like my children, from the time they were born, they never beg for food. When we were growing up, we eat only the leg of a chicken, but we were begging them to eat the tail of a chicken and, full chicken. So the things we went through before the Civil War, an average Igbo man, the way we are very independent, and because we believe if you are not financial dependent, you are still a slave. So we want economic dependent. The first thing an Igbo man will ask you is, do you feed me? Do you feed me? In other words, he's not ready to beg you for food. And if he can feed himself, he believes he's a king in his own house. So this opens our mind to challenge status quo. We can take you on an argument and we submit to superiorism. We have an adage in Igbo land that said, when my mate is senior, is achieved more than me, I will respect him. In other words, nobody give you chance and believe you can achieve better than him. So we believe we are very competitive in nature. We want everybody to work hard, and we want to let the best excel. Very independent from origin. That's why I compete with my senior brother. My sisters compete with me. We have open mind. Let the best excel. And if you are truly the best, you earn respect by the hard work you have. Nobody respects you by any other means but by what you are able to achieve. And that's why somebody like me, contrary to what many people think, that I'm not educated, sometimes I fool people and tell them I'm not educated, and they believe it. But I am so proud in my level of education, because Henry Ford said, who is an educated man? He said, an educated man is a man or a woman that can organize his or her thought into productivity. So I do tell people, if you don't like me, you cannot quarrel with my results. So you can only make some uncomplimentary remark, is too sharp, is too clever, but it stares you in your face. I went to automobile component university and I graduated with distinction. If you don't believe it, you cannot quarrel with the result. I did a research, not in a formal way, the way young boys do in university. I did a research when I was working for my uncle to know what is in Volkswagen that can fit in Peugeot, to know what is in Peugeot that can fit in Toyota. This is an informal research, but those knowledge I have is a power to make money. There is a guy by my store who went to university and his father gave him a lot of money. He put merchandise in his store, but he's selling those merchandise by their packet, the way they were packaged. But he didn't know the content of what is in the packet. Sometimes a customer will get to his store to ask him for the same goods he kept in the store. He will say he doesn't have it. The person will come to my store. I tell him I have it, and it's not in my store. I will sell it 3 times the price of that guy. What do? After the guy pays, say, where is it? I said, just hold on, I'm bringing it for you. I'll leave my store, take my right side. His store is by the left. When I get at a certain level, I send somebody to go to a store to get me front wheel bearing Volkswagen, because I know it fits in Toyota. And when I get it, I will remove it from the packet and give it to the customer, so he doesn't know which part number that it is. He's arguing. I said, go and fix it. If it doesn't work, your money is guaranteed 100%. If you don't want it, take your money back. Go and fix your money in your car. This is a power of knowledge. It wasn't wrong, because I was selling that guy's goods, earning more money than him. As I earn capital, I store my store. So when I have gained this knowledge and my store was getting up, his own start going down, because now people will come to me. I will sell everything that he has and sell part of the ones he has that I doesn't have. So he's stocking goods for me to sell, because he's selling them by their number. Most of these components of parts are generic, because the same guy that manufacture for Toyota, manufacture for Volkswagen, manufacture for Honda. So we go beyond the part number Toyota put on it or Volkswagen and look at the component and tell you what it fits. That is the benefit of apprenticeship. If you don't go through apprenticeship, you will not learn this. That's why I said also, it's one of the best university any young man can attend. Apprenticeship teach you unprecedented discipline, because there's no contractual agreement with your boss. You have to be at your best behavior. If you mess around, you are bundled back to the village, and nobody will protest your case, and nobody will come to argue about it, because there's nothing written. You could have been in your 4.5 years when you mess up, you are back to village. So you need to be at your best discipline. And that is why we've proven it statistically that any young man that successfully complete 5, 6, 7 years apprenticeship, none of them has never been successful to the best of my knowledge, because they learn the foundation of discipline that will carry them ultimately in life.
Wow. Now, between political power and economic power, which do you think is superior?
In the context of
Nigeria, to control the economic power. I don't think there is any part in Nigeria you will go and you will not find an Igbo man set up a shop.
In the context of Nigeria, political power comes first. But I believe economic power is more important in a very civil society. You don't know how America value any member of Ford family. They travel on a diplomatic. In fact, the US government, the way you treat president, has to approve for any member of Ford family to come to this part of the world. So because of the economic power they provide to that country. But on the other hand, we have a society where people who never did any job control cash better than those. And some people tell you power is greater than money because political power can destroy your business overnight. That is temporal. When we mature and get to a civil society, the world will be, you will begin to appreciate economic power. Any man that is not economically dependent is still a slave. He's still a servant to an extent. And
that reminds me. Yeah, go on, sir. Please go on, sir.
Yeah. So the person cannot talk freely. He cannot express himself. So you are already intimidated, you know, because you are going to say things to please your master to give you money for the next food and all of that. And so you are micromanaged. You can never fully actualize yourself, you know. So that's the difference. So I believe that I would rather have economic power, okay, than political power, because political power is 4 years, 8 years. You can get out of power and you become an ordinary man. But I have address. If I never controvert any law, I am consistent. You can always find me. I don't change my phone. The first phone I subscribed since Airtel, I have. Many people change phone after election. Each election, they change phone because, you know, so you won't get them again. You need to see them. So why do I need to change my phone? I want my customer to see me. If I have to live another 50 years, you get me in the same number that you know me. So that is independence of economical power. When you have it, you are free. You are not hiding anywhere for anybody to look for you.
Wow. Well, I was going to tell a joke that Chief Abiola once told us, MKO Abiola, when he met his friends who went into sugar business. And he told the man, Stanley, it seems this your sugar is very sweet. And the man replied that money is sweeter than sugar. Is that true?
I don't know about that, because you can money. The only thing is that money gives you confidence also. That is true. If you also want to believe it, even the Bible says money answereth all things. So unfortunately, it ought not to be so. But in Nigeria, when money speaks, truth keeps silent. You know, so it's become the other way around. It shouldn't be so. We need to still appreciate intellectual power and capacity. That's also the greatest weakness from people on my own side. Some of them made some money to buy a Mercedes and think what they have in their pocket is more important than what somebody have up here in the brain. The only difference I can tell you is that making money is also an act of leadership. When you are born leader or you have an attitude of a leader, you look at adversity will not be anything to you, because you will understand that they are just a refining fire that will burn out impurities in your life. What makes a lion what it is the confidence the lion had. When a lion meets elephant that is 80 times bigger and stronger than lion, 65–80% more intelligent than the lion, the first thing that comes in the mind of lion is this is a lunch if it's in the afternoon, or this is a dinner if it's in the night. The first thing that comes to elephant head is that this is a eater. So your mindset and your way you think is what reduces the elephant to like a sheep. Its size notwithstanding. So when I talk to young people, I tell them you require 3 things to survive in life. One is a vision. To have a clear sense of direction where you want to be in life. It's like a journey of a voyage. You may not know all the routes that will take you there, but the destination will be very clear in your mind. Like Joseph saw himself as a prime minister in Egypt, but God never revealed to him that he's going to get into a pit and poo-poo in the pit and sleep in the pit. If God showed him all the journey, he may say, let me remain where I am. But when you see the end, there's a driving force in you that carrying you there. The second thing is faith, to believe in your vision. That when it gets so dark, regardless of how dark it is, you still believe I'm going somewhere and nobody can talk you out of it. Then the third thing you require is courage. Courage is not an absence of fear. Courage is ability to act in the face of danger. A leader must never express and show his fear, no matter how scared he is. So that sense of optimism, that's why one of the US President, Thomas Jefferson, said, nothing in the face of this earth will help a man or a woman with the wrong mental attitude. And nothing can stop a man or a woman with the right mental attitude. A man we consider a prophet of God to this end-time generation, called William Branham, said it 54 times in his message, that the right mental attitude towards every promised word of God will bring it to come to pass. So everything starts from the way we think. Many people see hills in their life and magnify that hill to become a mountain, insurmountable. No one person has it all. You have to measure on what is going right in your life, not measuring on what is going wrong in your life. Because the person that is tall is not short at the same time. The person that is fair is not dark at the same time. We all lack something. Is that sense of what? That I am not an accident on the earth. I am born for a purpose. There's something God sent me here to do that will help you start looking for where you fit. And when you deliver value to people, they will pay you for it and money will follow you. Unfortunately, people are pursuing money and money is running away from them. But if they have a sense of creating value, money will pursue you. It's a game. And everybody that made it play by the same rule. Okay? It's like a tennis game. You win when you serve. If you lost your 5 services, you become poor. You lost the game. So when you have opportunity to serve better than any other person, you win a point in service. But some people, and if your opponent didn't serve well, you take his own service, you continue to increase in your opportunity of earning. So everybody that has made it in life is somebody who has a sense of service and purpose. If you do that, you will never be poor. Money will follow you. If you are a barber, barb hair better than any other person. When you finish barbing it, give the person a massage in his hair. He will tell his brother, this is the place to barb hair. Before you know it, people will be queuing. And you'll be wondering, there are other barbers here. Why is people queuing up to barb in your shop? It's the service you give, not Babalawo you meet. People who doesn't know it, go to Babalawo. Those who know it, give service and money follow them.
Wow. What do you think is responsible for the insulation of the Igbo people? One of the allegations against Igbos is that they prefer to have their brothers. Anywhere you find an Igbo, you must find a cluster of Igbos. What do you think is responsible?
Well, I totally will not agree that that is the peculiar to Igbo people. But one thing I can say that is peculiar to Igbo people is that we have a welfare system. We believe to distribute wealth so that your brother don't come to beg you, because we hate begging. Begging is not Bamishe is not the best profession. We don't really take it as a virtue that you are asking people to help you to do something. So he will either try to establish you, teach you the way to go and catch fish so that you don't disturb him anymore and things like that. That's the thing that is unique. Because I'm an Igbo man, Josiah Samuel, my second in command, is from Ogbomoso. So I have people from Ghana working for me. I'm not particular. I'm looking for the best brain. So some people say he make medicine to block my eye. I told them to go to the same Babalawo and make their own medicine. Because the medicine he made to me is that he renders service better than them. So you can't talk him out of me. When a man gives you value, you will never despise it. So I am very objective. So there are things, if you are my son, if you can't create value for me, I give you capital to go and do your own business. So I hold everybody accountable. So we have that independent mind. So even when we are doing business with our brother, we challenge each other to get the best out of us. So it's not that inclination that we keep our people around us. The Indians do that. Different people do that. But our uniqueness is that we want everybody to stand on his own footing, not to depend on me. Like I call you people in the evening and give every one of you food so that you can help me. We don't respect a man who does things like that. Why do you need to give me food every day? Establish me so I don't come to you for food every day. Teach me, show me the way to go. That's why you won't believe when I started going to Japan or Taiwan, we are competitors. 6 of us, Igbo people, will sleep in one room. And we are hiding what we are doing from one another. When I collect my invoice, I will keep it and put my head on it. When you shake my head, I'll wake up and grab your hand. Because I don't want you to know what I have ordered. But we will share room. So you see our competitive spirit. We come together, but we still compete in a future way of competition, but keep our secret independently from one another.
Wow, fantastic. Okay, now I want us to go into the nitty-gritty of your business trajectory. Why did you move from merchandising to automobile? What influenced you into going to automobile?
Let me simply put it like this. Success, when ignite, is run faster than the widest fire you can ever think about. If you get it right, that's why I tell people, don't be jack of all trade and master of none. Do one thing and do it well. When you do one thing and do it better than any other person, you will write your success story from that one thing you are doing. When you see people today he's doing rice, he's doing sugar, he's doing this. You tear yourself apart. Take one aspect of business, do it better than any other person. Dominate it. Your reputation in that open so many other doors for you. The BMW business, the person that introduced me to BMW was my late friend, Willie Anumudu. Brought Dr. Imena to my house when I was living in Bishland Estate. They have formed a company called Ultimate Motor, and they wanted me to invest into that company. When you need 1 million naira to get merchant bank import license, I invested 1 million naira in Ultimate Motor. But unfortunately, I went into business with some politician and I lost the money without anything back. So when BMW asked again that I should join some other people, I said, sorry, I don't do partnership. Allow me to run this business in my own way, but give me 5 years and assess me on what I'm going to do. If you decide, don't even give me a contract, but test me for 5 years and see what I'm able to do. But this, joining together with people that you don't share the same value, that have some other thing that motivate them, sorry, I will not do it anymore. I did BMW so well. When BMW took over Land Rover, they appointed me a dealer because of the result they saw. And also, I became a dealer of Lover. The day we were to launch Lover in Nigeria, we already put the car down, cover it, invited guests, and the news broke that BMW sold Lover and the Land Rover to Ford. We closed the car. We never launched it again that day because we couldn't put it behind them. When Ford took over Land Rover and saw how well we managed Land Rover, they appointed us dealer for Ford. Ford eventually sold Land Rover to Tata Motor Company. And Tata saw how well we managed Jaguar Land Rover because they bought Land Rover and Jaguar. They gave us the dealership of Jaguar. So when you do one thing well, it ignites to the other. The Japanese don't appoint one person a dealer for a competing brand. Many people actually don't know Coscharis business. They thought our business is automobile. It's not correct. The truth is, anybody that drives car in Nigeria is my customer. Regardless of the car you drive. There's no car that moves on the road. There's no component I'm selling that is inside. You are using one of my products. If you are not using our paint, you are using our masking tape, there's something I'm selling that is moving in your car, regardless of the brand you drive. So we are having a business that is pharmaceutical of automobile, just like a human being. Within 6 months, you must take analgesic, Panadol or Fancida or whatever. You're driving car, you are my customer. I like to see cars on the road. When cars are not on the road, I'm not happy. When cars are driving, jumping inside, gallop into potholes and whatever, I am happy because they will come back to come and reconcile with me later on. So I keep cars on the road. We are the doctors of automobile.
Okay, so can we talk about how you have progressed from the beginning to now? Can you just talk to us about your peculiar or unique business model that has helped you to expand so much that now everybody is using your products?
Number one is to know your limitations. I couldn't grow Coscharis to what it is if I have not accepted my limitations. I have money. I could have acted like every other Igbo trader, stay under a warehouse and buy Mercedes and have a driver and get apprentice. What happened was that the system that made me, I challenged it. That system that made me is good, but it has faults. The fault is that you micromanage the people. You don't allow the people to get the best out of them. When you take a young man, you teach him all the secret of business, you know, train him. When that guy got to a level where he can add value, you give him capital and send him away. While he's working for you, if you import goods, you cut the letterhead out so that he doesn't know who shipped the goods. You cut the price out so that he doesn't know how much you get the goods. You only tell him this thing is sell at 15 naira or 5,000 naira. He doesn't know whether you are making 40% or 20% or 10%. So you completely kill initiative. So if you are making 40%, customer could have offered him to buy the goods where 45% margin is on it. He will say no. Oga say, is this price? And that is final. That is the greatest fault of that. Another pitfall is that some of my people lack trust. You are afraid somebody is going to steal from you. Therefore, you don't want to expose yourself. It's not like we are preaching to, you can't make omelette without breaking an egg. You must be willing to give people your trust. Let people know you trust them and then hold them accountable to reciprocate that trust that you've given them. People like me, when people trust me, they put me in prison. If I get to know you don't trust me, I don't owe you anything. There's no reason for me to live up to you. But if I know you trust me, I will be a dead man to betray the trust. So that's one of my secrets, that I trust my employees and I let them know I trust them. I hold them accountable to reciprocate the trust that I give to them. I let them know this is a responsibility and you must live true to it. So that's where many of my people want to do everything. But after I served my boss, I took apprentice boys, the first boys that work for me, 5 of them. Each of them, I settle at their 5th year. I replace them with employee. And my idea is that we are going to bake a big cake where anybody can take a pile out of it. I started hiring people who are more sensible than me. But these people are technocrat. They avoid risk. They are very skillful, but they don't have the courage that I have. What do I brought to table? My core competence of automobile component. And I sell my visions to them and try to make a believer out of them to follow in the things that I was saying. That's why people who have PhD are working for me. People who have master's degree with my elementary 3 degree. And we are still building an institution. That's how they told me what to do, how to structure the campaign to compete in a structured manner where banks can take us serious, where suppliers can take us straight. And we started putting systems and processes in our business. But some of my brothers will tell you, I don't want anybody here to speak grammar. And then all you get is people who carry your briefcase. If you shit, they put cap on it and say, hey, this is the way big man shit has to be. So everybody follow you. But I got people who challenge my assumptions and I reason with them. I don't agree with them in everything. They bring intellectual capacity in the business and street smart. We come to a compromise. That is the secret. We look for entrepreneurs to work for us. In Coscharis, we teach entrepreneur. We educate people to be entrepreneurial. If we hire you and we see you have a civil service mentality, all you want to do is to avoid blame. You don't want to make mistake. We see that the job is so interested. Within 2 years, we let you go because you can never be useful to yourself or be useful to us. So we want people who want to, we guide people, by helping them to express themselves. When you give a man a responsibility with authority, he can make mistake, but don't make one mistake 2 times. You can ask a dumb question, but don't take dumb action. We will accept you and we will live with your mistake, because no child grew without falling. It's in the process of rising and falling that your leg becomes strong. So I knew these principles of life and I applied them in my business, and that's how we create the institution that people know as Coscharis today.
Fantastic. Now, everyone knows that you cannot do mega business without taking loans, and loans in Nigeria can be very deadly. So how have you been able to obtain loans and service your loans?
Thank
without...
you. Thank you, Dele. I borrowed my first 1,000 naira from African Continental Bank. The manager of the branch was one late Mr. Dulu, and they told me about turnover. I took the 1,000 naira, went to my store that day. Before the night, I went to pay 250 naira. The following day, I paid 375 naira. The following day, I paid I haven't done anything with it because I was doing turnover. By 4th month or 6th, bank was taking money out of it. That money remains 750 naira. I put my 2 hands on my head. I said, Jay, is this what bank loan was all about? I went and paid that money back, and I started working hard to build my own capital. Many people will not believe it, but on my honor, I never borrowed from bank until we built the Coscharis Plaza that is in Adiola, Odeku, and the Akadenshola, that property. We never borrowed from bank until we bought that property and built it. We work with our internal generated revenue. The only thing is that I deprive myself, I defer my gratification. I was not in a hurry to show that I have arrived. That's the problem with most of our people. We are very loquacious people. We want to show we have arrived, throwing money around. So that was what happened. I kept an eagle eye on capital, knowing that capital is not in plenty supply. It's a resources that you need to manage and guide with a very good eye. So before I started hiring workers, I put myself under strict position. If I enter a transport, I wrote down how much I spent to enter a bus. So I am able to know how much I made every day, how much I made every month, to decide what salary I put myself into and be able to reinvest my money back into my business. Capital doesn't fall from heaven. If you are an entrepreneur, you create capital. What you do with the little you have will give us sense that you are a true entrepreneur. And today, we borrow in banks on a negative pledge. We didn't pick it on the street. It's a discipline that we show in resource management. And the bank, over 40-something years, prove us that we're credible. And when we make a promise,
It's back. Sorry, the internet was acting up. Okay. Yes, sir. We're back now. Okay. Yes, please go on, sir. Or are you done with that?
That you need to manage resources very well. So these are some of the things we did to build a capital. People sometimes have 20% capital and want to borrow 80% from bank. You are already committing suicide, because you can only leverage on a borrowed money. If you want to borrow money, the money you borrow should not be more than 10-15% of the money you have to do the project, so that you can discount it if you have any accident. But when you are highly geared by leveraging so much in borrow, interest rate will put you in a pit that nobody will bring you out. You will lose the 20% capital you have in servicing debt, and you won't have nothing. So you are better off even having that 20%. And even the Bible said that a borrower is a slave to the lender. The man that lends you money is your master, and he dictates all the terms to you. So you need to borrow where you have capacity to negotiate the rate. And you can also bluff the person lending you money to say, sorry, I don't need your money, and write him one check and return all his money. Then he will call you back and start talking to you seriously, because you have shown capacity that you have what it takes for him to trust you. It's natural. Those who doesn't have, the little they have is taken away from them. And those who have more is given to them to manage. Success is about management. Anything you cannot manage, you lose. If you don't manage your health, you lose it. If you don't manage your spouse, you lose your wife or your husband. So you need to manage everything in life. God created a man to be a manager for those who are Christians. Many people read Genesis 1. Genesis 1 is a summary of God's creation. If you like, go and read Genesis 2. When God created everything, nothing is beautiful on the earth. It never rained until God created a man, because God was waiting for a manager to manage the resources. And when he created the man, the first thing he told the man is to work. He put him in the Garden of Eden to address it. That means he provided him a job. And when the man did well working, and God get the animal and say, okay, I want you to express your intellectualism, give them name. He started naming them. When man did do well with that, it's okay, this is the time for you to take a wife. But the young generation want a wife before work. When we talk about productivity, we think that producing is born more children in Africa. But a white man make a microphone, make a telephone, call it Samsung. These are their brainchild. They are giving birth to children by their brain. We also want to multiply number of children and say that God say multiply and replenish the earth. Any idiot can do that kind of multiplication. You don't need to have a PhD to be able to do that. So what God is telling us is, exercise what I put in you. You are a hard disk that is loaded from creation. I put something in you, bring it out. B is a command on a potential. There's something in you that I want you to express. So when we get to those bases and understand it, then you feel fulfilled. Many people go to job and think that is their work. Your job is not your work. Your job is what you are paid for. Your work is what you are born to do. When you find your gift and deployed it, then you find your work. Before then, you are going to a job, and people will only dictate what you want. But when you deploy yourself in your gift, then no man can pay you for who you are, because you become the person you are. You dictate your own value.
Okay, still on the issue of loans. You are an international player. I live partly in England, and I know that it is possible for me to change my car or my wife's car every year, because I can go to Jaguar, and it's something I've done in the past.
Sure.
Get a car loan, I pay a deposit, get a car loan. Next year, I can bring the same car, drop it, pick a newer version, add a bit money, as long as you have. What is the problem that we cannot have car loans in Nigeria? I'm sure a lot of people are dreaming of buying your cars, but it is cash and carry most of the time. So do you have facilities for duly employed people, for them to be able to live some life of luxury?
Those things we express in England is one of the things that fuel the economy, because money is change hand. It's not trapped in one place, okay? but it's a function of so many things. There's a stability in exchange rate. There's a stability in law and order. When you know, daily, without words, if you don't pay your obligation, your car will be repossessed, and nobody's going to get injunction in court to stop the repossession. Give somebody a car here and want to repossess it, he will get 10 years injunction. And by the time you get the car, so we need to restructure the whole system.
Okay.
Yeah. When we do all the work, then we will be able to develop middle class. Then you will see our economy start booming. People cannot understand that we are 200 million poor people because there's no middle class. We only have rich people and poor people. There's no in between. And what drives the economy is that middle class. And credit has to be in place to be able to drive that. But so when we say we need to restructure the system, and people are saying we don't restructure anything, those people are the greatest enemy of this country. We will restructure our judiciary, we will restructure our political system, we will restructure everything so that you can seek redress. There's no business that thrives without credit. But credit is not a Dutch. Credit is because you can pay, and the man will know you will pay, then he will give you credit. Even bank today cannot do microfinancing, loaning money, because they keep on chasing people around who will take the money and get away, and the system will support them. There's no way to track them down. You can give somebody a loan here, and the person will get an injunction for you not to harass him, and court will grant it in Nigeria. So how do you get your money back? So we need to work to restructure the system completely. If you take a case to court in England, with due 6 months, you discharge that case. In fact, 3 months, you get the result. I've had a case where somebody is cheating me and was infringing on my brand. And the case has been in court since 2011, and I've got nowhere with it. It's not even being heard. So what kind of justice do you get at the end of the day? So we need to, overhaul the whole thing for the good of all of us, because at the end of the day, we will all benefit. If this economy starts bubbling, it will be for the interest of every one of us. We will remain, when we have less poor people, we will reduce thief, we will reduce kidnapping, we will reduce 419. You can't educate a man and don't give him a means of livelihood. He will use that head for negativity. It's even better you don't educate him, because you are punishing him. He has already no value for life, and you make him live like a gutter boy after he has gone to university.
Wow. Okay, now let's go into your foray into agriculture. Could you tell us about your business in agriculture?
Our business in agriculture is that it wasn't an accident. If you listen to some of the people who go into rice production, there are people who have been importing rice, telling government, if you give me this incentive, we will do this, we do this. We never imported 1 grain of rice. But never in our life. But 35 years ago, I started to acquire a piece of property in Anambra State. I bought some of them from Rojeni in Oba, bought some from Bravo, bought some from Live Brewell, until I got in one place about 3,000 hectares of land. And I've always known I'm going to go into agriculture. But about 8 years ago, we acquired a company, a Swiss company that is here that has been 65 years called Syngenta, which is an agricultural business. Syngenta is a seed provider. It's quoted in New York Stock Exchange. So Coscharis took over their Nigerian business, and their XYZ managing director is still working with us till today. So this company was the company we used to develop our agricultural business. They went to make a test in the land and told us it can grow rice. I've always planned that I'm going to retire into agriculture. And I plan I will do this by the time I am 65 or 70. I have carried container all my life, stay under a concrete building wall. I want to get close to nature, you know, have fresh air and work in the field. So it's a lifetime dream. And this company, you know, made the data and tell us what to do. So since 2015, we went into you know, backward integration agriculture by planting rice, provided irrigation today. So we are doing 2 crop season, mastering it, we go into 3 crop season. We are milling our rice. Today, we cannot produce enough rice to sell to Nigerians, and people pay money and wait. Yes, this is the best business we have because we don't do credit. Everything is cash in advance, not cash delivery. So, and the World Bank, the World Bank has said by 2050, Nigeria will be, by demography, one of the 3rd largest population in the world. We will be between 350 and 500 million people. Food will be a king in the future in Nigeria. Those who go into agriculture today are people who is going to control this economy. Currently, Nigeria spends about $3.5 billion to import rice every year. This is not spacecraft. This is food. It got to a point that banana we eat in Nigeria is coming from Cameroon. You just ask, do we have people here with sense? Do we have entrepreneurs in this country? So we are positioning ourselves to target 35% of this 3.5 billion business. And that's what we are doing. We are going to be building the 2nd mill very soon. So we are for real in our rice business. And it may eventually be our core business. Because today, our automobile business has gone down because of the economy and the exchange rate. So that's why it's good to diversify when you have the capital to do so, so you can have some support base that will carry your business. During the COVID, whatever, our rice business is the best business ever. We were allowed to go to farm. We are allowed to sell rice. People need to eat food. It's our business that was not shut down. So our rice farm and business never closed for one day. And we were donating rice and milling rice and selling rice. So it's one of the best business I have ever ventured into.
Wow, fantastic. Okay, you said you're also into the world of finance. Could you also talk to us about that? You said you...
Well, I used to own Coscharis Finance and Investment Limited, you know, 100%. We invested money in 2 public quoted banks in Nigeria. At that time, I was sitting in 2 public quoted banks, you know, and served in one of them as the chairman of credit committee for 12 years before I retire. So, you know, the mechanics of business is the knowledge you have in it. The dynamics of that business is the capital you put into it. Mechanics without dynamics is no good. Neither dynamics without mechanics. But when you get 2 of them together, you will get things in motion. So that's what we have been able to achieve to a great extent, you know. By the grace of God, God has been faithful to us, and we have managed resources very well. So Those institutions are still there, running. I sold out in one of them and cash out and invested into some other good institution in Nigeria that paid off. So we are very liquid in our business, and our creditors all knew that, and we enjoy their confidence, you know. But you never have enough capital in business because, like I said, people throw new business at you. I just came back from Cross River 2 days ago. Many people don't believe the gentleman in Cross River that says he's building a super highway that will connect Cross River State to the northern part of Nigeria under 2 hours. That road, 90 kilometers of them is done. I'm deciding to invest on 50 kilometers on it, where we will build our own toll and collect our own revenue, you know, and, you know, maybe take it to about 100 kilometers. So there are opportunities. There's opportunity to invest into hospitals. So we get to a friendly state who provide you opportunity. Nigeria is still the best place to do business, because when you go to Ghana, you go to Cote d'Ivoire, you go to Ivory Coast, this economy is like less than Lagos State budget in a year. So this is the place to be. So this place provide opportunity. You know, any friendly state, you know, who is ready to provide us a good land, we will go there and farm rice. We will employ their citizens and we'll put a mill in that place. You know, we've gone through it. We understood it today. With irrigation, rice is a wheat that grow on a mud. You know, if you have water, 4 months you do your harvest, so you can do 3 crop season in a year. And this country will be self-sufficient very soon with rice and even export rice. You know, people are clamoring of the price today. I tell them, be patient. We bought SIM card 200,000. Today it's given out free of charge. It's about supply and demand. With the kind of money people are making in rice, there's going to be more entrepreneurs get into that business to cash out on it. There will be oversupply and price will crash. Nigeria will export rice in no distance period in the year. Aliko Dangote, people say cement was too expensive. Is he not exporting cement today? He's producing cement in all African states today. Nigeria will play that role in other Africa economy very soon.
Now, would you ever go PLC?
If you never give this current administration one credit, give them credit, they are serious about agriculture to get Nigeria produce the food they eat.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you ever go PLC?
Coscharis motto is already PLC, but we are not quoted yet in Nigerian Stock Exchange, but we are preparing ourselves there. It's Coscharis motto PLC. We have so many shareholders today that we are already public quoted. We're already public campaign, but we are not quoted in Nigerian Stock Exchange.
Okay, so let's talk about the deals that burnt your fingers.
Yep. Well,
it can't be rosy, you know.
you can never, how do I say it? You can never swim without water, you know, drenching your body. So it goes with it. It's those things that makes us tough. But you pay some school fees in a school of life. So many times you think you have graduated, but the school of life has a way to write you a new subject when you think you have graduated and you start studying it. So we have met things in life that we never believed or thought was possible. But those are experiences that makes us tough. Sometimes people say we are very difficult. No, we've learned in a very hard way. It's like a young man who has capital that do not have experience. He will lose the capital to gain the experience. And in business terminology, we will say he learned in a hard way. So his school fees for learning is much more expensive than people who take time to build it. There are many deals that will burn our finger. I mentioned one already. I mentioned to you the investment I made in Ultimate Moto. I lost the total capital. It wasn't a small money. It's a money you need to start a merchant bank then, that later the capital from 1 million naira become 12 million or become whatever it became later. And to come with that amount of money was not easy. But, you know, those are the things where we learn experience that make us, when we want to do the investment again, we do them in a better way. There are so many things. I've burned my finger, tried to get into oil businesses, lost lost tens of billions of naira in all of those things. But they're all school of life. So you need to learn to be able to be more careful. Today, we want to focus in the business that we have tested, that we have known. We are not in a hurry anymore. We have a lot of solid business. If I have opportunity today, I will put rice mill in every state of this country. There's no need for me to look for oil that is in the ground that I may spend all my money drilling, I will not find. I do everything today legitimately to earn money. My wife will invite you soon to come and see her little supermarket where he sell healthcare product, Eden Organic Farm. Okay. Today we do bottled water, including sachet water. I'm involved in it. I do yogurt. I'm into hospital equipment, Coscharis Medical, CG Biostat. I'm into car leasing. We have Coscharis Mobility. You know, most of the big multinational, we lease them car. You know, some of them have 200-300 of our vehicles. So we lease trucks to big company, you know, manage them. You don't have to tie so much money into asset. You just pay per month what you have to do. We are well diversified institution. So we are into different things today that create us well. So we are not looking for new business. So those who are listening to you should not be introducing business to us that they never did. So if they have money, they should bring it and manage it better for them. Before, after you leave, they start throwing proposal on to me. We've had enough business that require capital that we have not have to be able to do them.
Now let's talk about my very dear sister Charity.
Yep.
You were discouraged from marrying her. So how is it today? I can see that she has so much responsibilities in the group. So could you tell us how it has been?
Well, God blesses me. If you're a Christian and you read the Bible, it will tell you you can have a tongue to speak like angel. You can have faith to move mountains. You can, you know, do all kind of source. But if you don't have charity, it will profit you nothing. So God bless me with charity in the spiritual and bless me with charity in the natural. That's why I love that name so much that I also gave my daughter Charity. So I have two Charity in my home, my wife and my only girl. Both of them are Charity. That lady was God's gift to my life. That is the truth. She did me a favor to marry me. His parents thought she was out of her mind when she decided to stick with me. I was driving a motorbike. Her mother saw me in the market and came home telling them the story about this crazy boy standing on top of a bike and leaving his hand. You know, he hoped how her mother would be sleeping. Never knew that this crazy boy would become his in-law one day. And when we were under 20, we both met in church, and she decided to give me her right hand of fellowship when I really want nothing. So she earned a lot of my respect. She's the vice president of the Coscharis, and I will tell you basically, both of us built Coscharis because she was my first employee. She used to stay in the store. God did it that in our first 6 years, we didn't have children. So she ran the business with me from ground zero to become what we have become. So we own the company together. If I'm not there today, she seamlessly fit into my shoe and run the business. She's there to me. God blesses me with a two women in my life, my mother and my wife. And I have a lot of respect for serious-minded women because they can help you. God sent a woman in a man's life to help the man actualize his vision. Some women try to focus to compete with their husband by saying, I'm going to run my own business, I'm going to be a woman of myself. A woman is fulfilled when he helps the man to do something. That's why God said, I will give you a helpmate. It's not a helpmeet. It's not M-E-E-T, but M-E-A-T. So a helpmate, a helper that is worthy. But the unfortunate thing is, if a woman shows up in a man's life and the man had no plan for his life, then the woman is also confused because the woman come to help you to do something. And when he showed up in your life, he find that you are doing nothing and you don't have a place to go. So there are two confused people in the home. But God was kind to me that I have plan and where to go. She sent this lady in my life to help me accomplish what I wanted to do. And she's the Coscharis organization.
Wonderful, wonderful. Before I take the last two questions, we've almost done 2 hours. You won't believe it, Chairman. Almost 2 hours. I would like to acknowledge that the special advisor to the President on Political Affairs, Senator Babafemi Ojudu, who was my colleague at the Concord newspapers, has been watching and listening quietly from Facebook. So, Senator Ojudu, good evening. I just must recognize his presence. Okay, now you preach on the streets.
Yes.
And I once posted a video that went viral.
That's right.
What's responsible?
You tweeted
like you on the streets. Are you not afraid?
Well, Dele, we have only one life to live. One. Many of us live life that is, many of us live in a prison of fear. And that is one of the reasons why they never achieve anything in life. If you know, I still drive a motorbike today in Lagos. Not Okada carry me, I drive myself and I go to work with it. The only thing is that you may not know it's me because I put my gear. I have 3 bikes that I still drive today. My belief is that nobody can take my life until God finishes with me. If God never finished with me, and if God has finished with me, I am afraid of air crash. I will live in my house in Ikoyi here, where I am living, and plane will crash on top of my house, and I will die of air crash. Whether I am flying it or the plane, there are people who never flew in their life, and plane crashed on top of their house. Only person who has right to take life is God. Nobody will kill me until God finishes with me. That's part of my confidence. I am not afraid. Fear, I made fear. Fear is afraid of me. So that thing doesn't cross my mind. And I know I'm going to die once. Many people only think about death and how long they live in life. Life is not measured by duration. Life is measured by donation. There is a gift God gives you to your generation. Do your generation feel you? The oldest man that lived in the Bible is called Methuselah. Only one verse is written about him. He lived 965 years and died. No other thing was said about Methuselah. Jesus died at 33. We will never stop talking about him. Please, take all the apostles of Jesus Christ. Peter was beheaded. Paul, James, none of them lived 70 years. All this new model idea, You must reach 70. If you don't reach 70, you didn't reach God's generation. What is important is, did your generation miss you? Did you deliver? The number one thing that has acquired the wealth in the world is grave. Well, people with 5 billion cells in their brain went to grave without producing anything to their own generation. That person has lived a wasted life. You must live for your generation to remember you. We will say Dele introduced Ovation. He was the #1 man that introduced a magazine that everybody copied in his own time. There are everyone, no human being is born without a gift. Even a retarded person has a gift. When God made you, Dele, after he made you, he break your mold. There's nobody else that will be like you. We should stop copying one another. That's why even two identical twins, their fingerprint is different. Their color of their eyes is different. Stay and live in original. You mustn't be any other person to become yourself. Have that sense of worth and develop the characteristic God gives you. Find your gift, and your generation will never miss you. So that's why I preach in the streets. That video that you see went viral. I was in Makoko fish market in Ebutemeta. That's where that thing was taken. Somebody did that for the first time, trying to learn how to. I didn't know he put it in a detail, and they went all over the world. I did that thing since I was 14 years. That's where I began. And I am 62 today. I've never stopped it. I go on Saturday for evangelism. Every Friday night, I go for night vigil. If our church doesn't have, I look for a friendly church around where I will go for vigil. That's the night club I go. And it will interest you that I am 65 years. I don't own a television. I don't watch television. There's no TV in my house. I raised 5 children without TV. That's how I improve myself. I go to work, come back by 10 or 11, give my wife attention. I don't want another man talking and interfering in our discussion. And that's why I've lived with my wife for 42 years. I've never raised my finger against her because we have time to talk. If I finish coming to office and we watch somebody who will take the remaining time by 6 o'clock, I jump out, I'm going to work. Then we are building things. Before you know it, it explodes. So you need to lose something to gain something. You can't make omelette without breaking egg. There are sacrifices you make for positions you attend in life. You need to see what works for you. So you can't go and say, because Adenuga is doing this, I must do it. I went to Dele's house. He has a 40-inch television. I must have it in my life. I always ask myself, what are the values of that thing? How does those things help my vision? How does it corroborate with my vision? I don't even want you to be my friend if you are not going to help my vision to come to pass. Because you need to ask person who, you don't want people who are going nowhere to become your friend. Where are they going? They just want to sit down and talk about other people. So I want to choose people. When you have a vision for your life, it makes you live a narrow life. You choose people you are going to go with, people who will collaborate with the drive you have to make it come to pass. So that's why I live a life that people, many times I go to preach with my motorbike. If I have BMW 1600cc, I have Suzuki 1300cc. If I drive it and fire the exhaust, people will gather. Then I will remove my gear and I will start talking. In one occasion, I spoke down and make altar call, and 46 people gave their life to Christ. I took their name and followed up with them and got some of them baptized in the name of Jesus Christ. So that's the life I've lived since I was 14, and I'm not embarrassed to do it. There are people who are afraid about their faith. They are embarrassed about it. You know, they don't want you to know because you call them a religious fanatic. I am not embarrassed about what makes me. I am nothing. God made me everything I am. He owes my life. Jesus came to establish his kingdom on the earth. When he prayed, he said, thy kingdom come. Bring the heavenly influence over this earth. Let's do on the earth the way they do in heaven. So I try to introduce people to this kingdom. When they get a heavenly influence over their life is transformed, revolutionized. They have a sense of purpose and direction in life. So that's who I am, and I'm not embarrassed about it. If you like me for who I am, we become friends. If you don't like me, good luck to you. I go my way. Nobody has hell or heaven to put anybody, and no individual has fire in his head. We are all human beings. I meet some people, they tell me, you are not educated. I have PhD in physics. I tell him, does that make you more than human being? There are something I know that you did not know with all your PhD. If you come to automobile industry, I talk to you like a child because I also have distinction there. So you need to have a sense of value. You are a human being to begin with. So whatever intellectualism you have doesn't take you off from being a human being. I respect people, but I don't fear people. So that's the Cosmas Maduka that you know.
Finally, your wife is Charity. What is your attitude to charitable causes?
What is the attitude to charity? Coming again, the question.
Charitable causes. How much of your wealth are you willing to give away?
Oh,
to help?
aha.
Yes. Charity.
Okay, good. I get it. If you know Coscharis organization, social responsibility is in the DNA of our organization, and we incorporated in our mission statement. Coscharis will provide excellent products and services and will plow back resources to the society. Okay, so because these are the people that made us, Coscharis built the only lecture law theater in UNN, University of Nigeria and Soka. We built the six luxurious flat, 3-story building for Nnamdi Azikiwe University in Nnewi. We tie road, we make borehole. During the COVID, we donated thousands of bags of rice to Lagos State, to Rivers State, to different people in other states of the Federation. So social responsibility is part of our corporate DNA. Every year we spend at least 3 to 4% of our earning in corporate social responsibility. We believe in it, and that is what propagates our organization. We put something back to the society. We have children who has no parents that are brilliant, that we pay their school fees to university level. So these are asked questions, so people will tell you. And it's not for me to, I'm being pushed to say this because it's not for me to advertise what we do, but just to let you know that CSR is in the DNA of our organization.
Well, on this note, Chairman, I must thank you for this great lecture. Maybe we would have had to meet you at Harvard or the Oxford Business School, but here we are on Instagram Live. So we thank God for technology. And then something positive has come out of this COVID. Now people are at home, so everybody is listening and watching. And I'm going to be posting it immediately, so those who have missed it will be able to watch it after. Thank you so much, Chairman. Every time I call you, you answer me. I can assure you God will always answer you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Let me say one thing to you. With my elementary 3 degree, I attended course at Harvard. I am alumni of Harvard Business School. So note that down. You will see it there. So you see power of trying to improve yourself. Okay. In 2014, I was invited at Vienna in Austria to make some talk on youth entrepreneurship. And over 100 nations of the earth was there, including Japan and United States of America. So, you know, you can educate yourself in the streets. You know, it's not all about speaking grammar. It's about organizing your thoughts in life. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And my regards to Mommy. Thank you so much. I look forward to speaking to you. Thank you, man.
I appreciate
it.
So
our music. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, our very, very patient viewers. We've done over 2 hours today, but we'll be posting. Once again, my very dear brother, my friend, Senator Babafemi Ojudu, it's good to see you. We love you. And my regards to your darling wife. Good night, everyone. God bless you all. Okay. Let's have Sinach. I know who I am. Do you know who you are? So you must know who you are. That's the lesson I took from this. Oh, thank you all for your comments. Thank you. I can see a lot of my friends. Yeah, thank you. Generation, we've been called for to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me, and I know who I am. We are the chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me, for I know who I am. I know who I say I am. What He says I am. Where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I know who God says I am. What He says I am. Where He says I am. I know who I am. I'm walking in power. I'm walking in miracles. I live a life of faith. I know who I am. I'm walking in power. I'm walking in miracles. I live a life of faith. I know who I am. Yes, we recorded the powerful interview. We recorded it and we shall be posting it. But before we go, we must play our own Instagram anthem. Duduke, yes, it's always a must. So we've given thanks to God Almighty. So we will play our Duduke. Yes. First let me tell you, I can't wait to see you. You're the better I've been waiting for. Do you know how much I need you? I pray for the day when I don't finally kiss you. You know, say everything for you. Oh, me and my children, Yes, so please dance.
See, I may not give the world to you, but I give you what I have. Oh, baby, you are my lucky, you're the one I need, baby. Shall you say,
For you. Oh, official we. How are you? Okay. Okay. I am fair, me, I am fair. I am fair, me, I am fair. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Now let us post this. Thank you.